Hello and welcome to all our listeners out there. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela.
And this is Welcome to Livingston, our podcast where we talk all about Livingston County. And we are really excited today because today we have with us Sharon Fisher, and she is the Vice President and Manager of the Howell Opera House. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we were so excited about having you in today because, we've always known about the Howell Opera House, and it is such a unique and interesting resource that we have here in the county. So we wanted to start off today. Could you just tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, I'd be glad to. It's part of my life daily, and I've been with it since the year 2000 when the Livingston Arts Council purchased the building. And their intent was to make it an art and cultural center for the communities all of Livingston County. It was built in 1881 by two entrepreneurs, Hunter and Holmes. They decided that Howell needed a first-class opera house, and so they invested $11,000 of their own money into the building, and then went on and asked the community to join in, and they came up with another $2,000. So the whole building was built for $13,000, which was a tremendous amount of money back in the day.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a great building. I know when we moved into Livingston County at that point in time, I think it was still a hardware store in there. And
Yes.
so
Yeah, a lot of people, it's interesting because it's right there in downtown. It has such a prominent location. But, if you don't, we moved in, around 2000 at that time. And if you didn't know it was there, a lot of times it's this special gem that you're like, wow,
Yes.
we have this.
That's amazing that you say this because the Opera House was literally locked away for 73 years.
Wow.
And it was a hardware store on the first floor for 120 years. So when people talked about the Opera House being there, you would drive by and that's all you could see was the hardware store. So you thought, well, it's long gone, and
Right.
people
Yeah.
actually thought the Opera House was on the first floor and was replaced by the hardware, but that's not how it was. It was upstairs, the second and third floor, locked away.
Wow.
for that many years, that's just
Yes.
astounding. So tell me, Sharon, how was it that you had the opportunity to get involved?
Well, back then, at that time, Jeff Stamm was the president of the Livingston Arts Council, which came together about 1995. And his intent was to purchase that building. He was an opera singer, professional opera singer.
Oh.
And he stood in for Pavarotti many times.
Oh my
so
gosh.
he was very
wow.
good. Anyways, Jeff worked at purchasing this building for 12 years. The hardware people were very comfortable with their business there and their life, and they didn't really want to sell. But after a while, they finally gave in to Jeff, and we went ahead and purchased the building in 2000. And they were looking for different people to sit on the board. And I am a professional artist, and so they did want an art person to sit in because there's so many things that I would know that the average person wouldn't. So he seeked me out, and it took me probably about a year to join him. And at that time, I did, and I've never been sorry.
Oh,
Wow.
wonderful. And that's certainly been quite some time.
A long time now. Yeah.
Right. And I know we've been to a number of events there on the main floor, but for those people that might not know, what type of events do you guys have in there?
On the first floor?
On the first floor, yes.
We have anything that you could possibly think of. We do private rentals, which involve things like baby showers, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, ceremonies, and receptions. We try to do as many art events as we possibly can, and it covers a lot of territory. Right before COVID, 2019, we had over 300 art events in the building.
Wow.
And over 200 private rentals. So we're
Wow.
a busy place. We were closed down during the COVID year, and so things are still slow now, but picking up.
Wow. Yeah. So, one of the coolest things that I think our kids got so excited for down there is you guys had an art show when I think our son was in third grade or fourth grade, where
Something like the elementary.
they had picked the different art pieces from the different schools. And it was like an art gallery where they could go in and they could find their piece and they had their name on it. And you could see the kids were so excited to go in there and find their piece of art that it was like their own gallery. And it was just such a fun event for them.
Yes, and we still have that event every year, and it's called Got Art.
Okay.
And we have 1 week where it's elementary children, and then the second week it's the middle school and high schoolers. And it's a great event. All schools in the county, most of them participate, including private schools.
Okay.
So it is an opportunity for the little kids to express themselves, and they do. They're so excited and so proud when they bring their parents in and grandmothers,
Right.
grandpas.
Because our son now, he's going to be entering high school, and it's just to this day, one of my favorite pictures of him with my parents is coming to this.
Got art.
Got art.
Got
And
art,
standing
yeah.
next to it, and you can see his,
Oh,
Yeah.
the
just,
picture right
I
behind
don't think
them.
he's
and
ever smiled as big as that.
Yeah.
It's just
they're
that
they're
pride.
all very proud of what they've done.
Right.
It's a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, and people for the community to come in and
yes.
see these too,
Yeah. It's amazing the incredible art that you see up on the walls.
Right.
We can't take all of it in. We take about 20 or 25 pieces from a school. And so the teachers help make the choices for that. And then they display it for the week. And it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it just gives that encouragement right at the right time for people too. And
Yes, it
supporting
does.
the arts and getting them into that, to show that. So
So in terms of, one of the events that I know that you do, and that's how we're personally familiar with the Opera House, is having our kids in the elementary school. They do a tour of downtown Howell, and kind of the highlight of the tour, in my mind anyway, was coming into the Opera House and to get a tour, not just of the downstairs where all the events happen, but kind of that super secret upstairs that was locked away
Yes.
for 73 years.
That happens during Howell History Days every May and beginning of June. And all the second graders come in and they tour downtown, many of the historic buildings, and the Opera House is one of them. And it's very exciting to see the kids come in because they have just expressions of when they walk in, because they've never seen anything like the Opera House with the stage and the curtains and the squeaky floors, and they love it.
yeah, well, the parents get pretty excited about it too.
Yeah.
So, it's always vying for which parents get to come down and everything and get to be able to see upstairs. So
Yes, it is. So the children have returned throughout the years, and many of them come back for their graduation parties. Many have come in and gotten married at the Opera House. And then we're talking baby showers. So, we're going over 22 years of tours with the second graders. So it offers a lot of opportunities for, as they've grown up, to come back.
Right. Yeah, no. And I know you guys do winter market in there as well, right?
Yes, we do winter market from November through April, twice a month. And it's all local artisans and farm people. And it's a great thing for the community to be able to come in out of the cold in the winter and shop and enjoy all the artistic and farm goodies that are there.
Exactly, because a lot of people, they see the farmer's market during the summer, and then that disappears, and it moves right over there twice a
Right.
month. So that's good.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what about in terms of renovations? That's something that I know.
Renovations,
That's worked on.
we are working very hard to get this moving. We had thought we were real close to moving into it right before COVID, and then, of course, COVID hit and everything come to a standstill. So now we're actively working at it again, working with our architects, and we're looking at the drawings again and applying for grants, and we'll be having fundraisers throughout the community, and we're ready to move on. And hopefully, once we get it all in place and get it started, we're looking for about a year to a year and a half that it would be ready. And we're going to be renovating the second and the third floor, and also the building next to us, which is called the Garland Building. And excuse me, many of the things will be going into that building, like elevators and staircases and
Nice.
ticket rooms and
Wow.
that. So it's an important part of the whole complex.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know when you say that third floor, that is a traditional U-shaped balcony up there. I
Yes.
mean, that
Yeah,
is
mezzanine
wonderful.
or-
It is a horseshoe-shaped balcony.
Yep.
It is the only one in existence in the state of Michigan.
Wow.
There are a few out west, but not too many. There are 4 that we know of in Ohio.
That's really exciting. And, you know, for people to be able to see that once that happens and
Yeah.
to be experiencing art.
And it's
architecture.
quite beautiful.
It
It's
is.
quite beautiful.
Yep. I've talked to a few people that have been up on the third level. When we were there, it was, you know, you don't go up to the third level because I know you guys are doing renovations and, you know, there's a lot of support and such that needs to be done in there. But again, the tours that they give, just being able to see some of the pieces that they have up there, seeing pictures of when, you know, high school graduations used to be in there.
Yes, all the high school graduations in Howell between 1881 and 1924 took place at the Opera House. There were no auditoriums or gymnasiums in the high school, so the biggest place in town was the Opera House, so all the commencements took place there. There was 801 students that crossed the stage during that time period.
Wow.
Wow. Such a slice of history.
Yes,
you know,
it
to
is.
experience it, not just read about it in a history book. It's really exceptional. So in terms of people getting involved in volunteering, people that might be interested, you know, how can they get
Well,
involved?
we're always looking for volunteers because without volunteers, we couldn't operate. And we're actually having a volunteer meeting. If anybody would like to come and join us on February 16th at 6 p.m. in the first floor of the Opera House. And it would give everybody the opportunity to join us, to get the feel for the building and be part of the history. And it's exciting. Most of our events are always exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. And that's, you know, in terms of being part of Livingston County, everybody's so friendly. And I think, especially as everything's opening back up, getting involved is just critical, you know, so to find just a cause that you can feel good about and volunteer for, you know, I think that Opera House is a great option.
That is one thing that I've always been amazed with in this community is the people that volunteer. It's outstanding. It really is.
We like to build the community up. You know,
Yes.
everybody has their own way to go about doing it.
Right. And to have such a unique resource as the Opera House, because, you know, I assume that 100 years ago, there was more of these all over America, but so many of them were lost to history. And to be able to have that, and again, for people that are listening that have never been there, to walk up that side staircase and come into that and be like, wow,
Yes.
this is here.
It's remarkable.
You know, and then when we had a tour, they were, you know, all the kids always wanted to talk about, are there any ghosts in here? Or they, you know, they have all these unique questions. And I found out about the staircase that used to be at the front. And it's just such rich history.
It really is. We have ghost hunters that come in all the time, and it's pretty unique. They bring in all their equipment, and they measure temperature, they measure lighting, and they always bring mediums with them. And so each one tells a little bit of a different story. They get a different feel, and they see different things. But I always tell people, and I tell the kids, you know, you got to believe what you want to believe. If you think there's ghosts up here, then there are.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, it's an old building. Many things happen there. It moans, it groans. But like I said, it's an old building. So believe what you want to believe.
Right.
It certainly makes things interesting and opens up the imagination.
Yes, it
Especially
does.
kids at that age.
Yep, because I know it was interesting again with the tours that the kids do downtown, and you know, us having 3 kids that went through it, and then all of the friends and everything, they come back talking about the Opera House, and they come back talking about the elephant.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that's the 2 things that they're always talking about. But again, it's, you know, it's that history that you're giving people that they're able to experience, and then with the events that you guys do downstairs, I think a lot of people in the community, you're giving them a chance to become part of that history. And that's what I think is very commendable. And when you volunteer for something and you're seeing the renovations that are happening, and when that opens up in the end, people are just able to say, hey, I had a part in that. And I think that's very powerful.
Yes, I think I agree with you on that.
Great. So in terms of unique events, or which events have drawn the biggest crowds, do you have any thoughts on those?
You know, that's hard to really put your finger on because we have so many unique events. We used to have an event outside the building. We'd close down the street, and it would be a part of the inside as well, the outside. It was called the Red Wine and Brews. And it was dancing and singing, and we had art shows inside the building at the same time. And probably that was one of the biggest draws. But, you know, inside we could seat 200 people auditorium style. So when you have sellout after sellout, you know, how do you put your finger on which is the best?
Right. That's true, and great that it does, at least pre-COVID, and I imagine, you know, before too long it's going to get rented out regularly. So if someone is interested in hosting an event and renting that out, where would they go, or what would they want to do?
They can call the office anytime, and if nobody's there, they can leave a message, and I will call back, or the office manager will, Nicole. Or they can look up on our website. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and we try to advertise in the newspaper. And there's so many markets to reach out for people because not everybody listens or watches the same thing. So you got to hit a lot of markets. So
it's true. So if someone wanted to maybe bring their own food in, their own caterer, then they'd have that ability. Right?
They can bring their own food in, but we do have 3 caterers that we work with.
Okay, great.
And one is CC Catering here in Brighton, and the other one is KC Catering, which is in the Fenton area. And then the third one we have right now is PJ's Catering in Howell.
Okay.
Nice. And that's wonderful that you have those partnerships there and gives people options and to be able to do that. Because I think that's the challenge when you're hosting an event. If you're picking a restaurant, then that is the food that you get from there. Whereas the Opera House, at least, there's...
Yeah. And different private events, we allow them to bring food from home, too.
Okay.
It just depends on the event.
Right. And I know we've come to a couple parties down there. The Livingston County Association of Realtors has their Christmas party there the past few years. So, you know, there's been dueling pianos down there, which was cool. Unfortunately, we missed this year's one, but I know that they had a murder mystery dinner.
That sounded like a really good time. I was bummed to not make it.
But I think it's that unique aspect of people being able to come in and use that space and kind of make it their own for those types of events, which is very cool as well. And I know I see some of the other ones. You guys just had a singer-songwriter type person in there recently, if I remember right.
We have Acoustic Cafe right now, which is every Friday night through the first week of March. And it's a different singer-songwriter person every week. We are having which we had to cancel last week because of the weather, a comedian, musician, hypnotist coming back.
Oh, my goodness.
And he will be back on March 26th, and it's going to be a real fun night.
Oh,
wonderful.
Excellent. March 26th, that would be a great event for people to check out. I imagine the details, would that be on your website?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
And then once you guys are able, downstairs you can fit, how many people did you say?
200 auditorium style.
Okay. Oh, no.
And 150 at tables.
Oh, wonderful. And then obviously once you guys are able to open it upstairs, that expands a little bit.
Oh, we'll be able to do 2 events at the same time.
Wonderful.
Yeah. You know, we could possibly have a wedding going on upstairs and an art show downstairs. So it's going to be real exciting. It's going to be very exciting for Howell.
Yes.
To see this going on.
Right. Especially with the stage up front and being able to host those types of events as well.
Yeah. How exciting. And part of why we've done this podcast is there's so many people that have come in from outside of the county that maybe don't even know that this is there.
Absolutely.
So there's just so many different, small businesses and events. And so it's been fun to speak to everybody, in terms of our community. It's really...
We do a lot of small business meeting kind of things and workshops, and it's pretty exciting for the community to have a place to go.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
And it's definitely, it's, as we've been having the conversation, all the different events, I kind of forget how often we've been down there. And one we haven't been able to make it to, but is there something that was ballroom dancing? I don't know if that's...
Yes, there's ballroom dance lessons every Tuesday evening. And they start at 6:30 and they go to 8 o'clock. And you don't have to have a partner. So if your husband doesn't want to dance, but you do, come on down.
Well, see, that's something we should check out. We actually took a ballroom dancing class together when we were in college.
Oh, uh-huh.
So we both went to Michigan State. You had to have 1/2 credit of some kind of PE type class. And she convinced me.
I talked them into it.
Yes. I wanted to maybe take bowling or something like that. We ended up in ballroom dancing. So it was a lot of fun, though. But it's nice to be able, when we go to weddings and such, I can waltz, I can swing, I can, so to all you people out there, it is a lot of fun, and it's not as hard as it looks once you learn.
Local, close by, and for anybody to be able to kind of go in and get involved. I mean, that sounds like just a great event. So that's, when did you say it got on Tuesdays?
Every Tuesday evening, 6:30.
Wonderful.
And I saw that you guys had in the past where they have artist model come in where they have people to do drawing.
We have what they call open studio every Tuesday afternoon from noon till 3, and we have a live model. And it's strictly come in and do your own thing, work in your own medium, bring your own supplies. It's a $10 modeling fee, and it draws a lot of artists. We have artists that come from Detroit, from Dearborn, because this kind of a thing is not offered just everywhere.
Right.
That is very cool.
See, this seems like such a great resource that there's just, it doesn't matter what your interest is, or, there's just so many opportunities to help support the Opera House and feel like you're part of it, since it's part of the community.
Yep. No, I would encourage people to check out the website to get involved, because again, you drive by and you see things going on sometimes, but a lot of times people don't know what they're missing. To check out those events and to come support the community, but at the same time be able to participate or to see these different things is just a wonderful experience.
We have people that, we have something for everybody. And so people are very surprised at the different events that we have, because it just fits everybody's interest at one point or another.
Right.
That makes sense. Now, are there any other events that you can think of offhand that we haven't touched on?
Sure. We have concerts at the courthouse every summer. This will be our 21st year. And there are 9 Fridays out of the summer, starting the first week in July through the end of August. And we have live bands, and it's pretty darn exciting. And there's dancing.
Yep.
People sing along. It's just a lot of fun, and it's free.
Yes.
Wonderful. And how many people tend to come to some of these?
We've been seating as many as 2,000 people.
Wow.
It's a huge night. It's a lot of fun. It's so exciting.
I've seen that you guys have had a few different tribute bands down there. I know that there's been a Jimmy Buffett tribute band before down there and such. So it's just a real fun thing to do, and right in the heart of downtown. And it just gets so many people down there and involved.
Yes, it does. And we thank the County of Livingston every year for the use of this amphitheater. It's beautiful, and it's just an exciting place to be in the summer. It enhances the whole town. People go to dinner first, or they go out and have a drink, and then they come to the concert and have a great evening.
Yes.
Wonderful. And that's exciting to know that you've been doing it 21 years. I know it's been a fair amount of years, but I didn't realize it was that long.
A long time. Mm-hmm.
Great. Then what other events?
Oh, we have coming up right now a whiskey tasting. Mm-hmm. It's actually Irish whiskey tasting, and it's combined with, of course, the 14th. And, if you want tickets, it's a pre-sale, and call the Opera House, or you'll be able to order them online. And there'll be food, and the person that heads this up, there's a name for him, and I can't think of what it is. They will talk about the Irish whiskey and what goes into making it and how it all came about. And it's an interesting evening. It has an education with it as well as fun.
Right.
How neat. Is he in just such a variety?
Yeah.
Like you said, doesn't matter the interest or any of that.
We have a local author and retired school teacher coming up in March 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And she will be talking about her book that she just wrote, and talking about quilts and her experience with them. She's really not a quilt maker, but she's a collector. And she goes about to markets and home sales and whatever, and she'll see old quilts and she buys them, and she gets their story with them. And so she wrote a book about all these quilts she's collected and the stories with them.
Wow.
And then we're going to have local people that are going to be displaying their quilts for the three days.
Oh, wonderful. So all the quilting fans, that's kind of an unusual event.
Yeah. It's Mrs. Frazier, and she was a school teacher for over 20 years at the Fowlerville High School.
Right. And I know with quilters and such, that's they have a devout fan base.
Yes.
Those that do quilting, they travel quite a bit to go to local quilt shops or different ones, and they have quilting weekends and quilting parties. So that is such a great thing to be able to go, and then to get the history behind them, because that's each quilt has such a personal story.
Yes, it does. It does.
No.
Definitely.
Her book will be for sale there at the Opera House
Yes,
as
it
well.
will.
So anyone interested in the book can pick it up there too.
Yeah, it'll be an evening event. She'll be speaking at 7 p.m., and it's free.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we also have coming up, which is a very exciting event, Opera Art Live, and it's May 7th. And it'll be involving both floors, the first floor and the second floor, the actual Opera House. And we have 36 artists that come in, and they create art in 2.5 hours live in front of everybody. And so you come in, and there'll be hors d'oeuvres, and we'll have an open bar that night. And then you stroll through the building and watch the artists work. And then we have a live auction afterwards, and it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
When is that again? May 7th, you
May
said?
7th.
What day of the week is that?
That's Saturday.
Saturday. Wonderful. Is there a limited number of tickets? Or?
Nope, it's open.
Wow, that's very cool. And then with having the auction and such, does part of the proceeds of that go to help fund the Opera House then?
Yes, it does. And part of it goes back to the artist also.
Good.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Great.
That is great, because it gives people all these different unique events to come in and to be able to experience it, and to see that you have so much outreach in the community to give all of these different types of events opportunities for people.
Absolutely. Are there any other events you want to make sure to mention too?
Well, we have the Got Art coming up. We did talk about that. We have an art show also that goes on in August during the Melon Festival, and that's been going on for probably about 20 years now also. And it gives local artists an opportunity to come in and set up their art pieces and put them up for sale.
Right, yeah, we've purchased some nice pieces from there.
We have a couple in our office.
Great.
Yes. And, I would go back to say on that Got Art, for you people out there that don't have kids in the schools, to come in and to see this artwork. And if you see a kid standing there looking at his piece of art, or her piece of art, his or her piece of art, but I'm saying because we had our son at it.
Right.
There were a couple people that came up and asked our son about his piece of art because he was there talking about it. And the smile that you saw on kids' faces when someone that they didn't know asked them about their artwork. So it's just such a
important.
Great experience for just the general public to come in and to support the community in a unique and different way. I would encourage anyone out there to come see it, because it is a you have so many great events.
And we had no idea it was even out there until, he brings this note home and he's all excited, like, you're going to be in an art show. It was just like, wow, okay. And it was nice. It was
It's
fantastic.
a great confidence builder for the children. It really
is.
expands their mind, their creativity.
Absolutely. And to this day, he is our artistic one. So I don't know if that started with that or, certainly that encouraged it. And there's so much in the arts, and he's also both of our sons are very musically oriented, but it's exciting to see ways that the community encourages this.
Yeah, one of the unique things here is we knew you were coming on and we were talking about and such, but through this conversation, it's made me realize that I've been to a lot more events at the Opera House than I thought I had been to. And hearing all the events that you guys have coming up, you guys do a lot.
Oh, yes, we're busy.
Well, they're right in the heart of town.
Yep.
And it's so unique, the Opera House, because we are downtown, and it just gives a different feel to everything when you're inside and you're looking out the beautiful windows and you see people walking by and they stop and they look, and they wonder what's going on.
Right.
And sometimes they come in and sometimes they wave and go on by, but it's a great opportunity. Most downtowns in the old towns, don't have big buildings like this with that kind of a floor space inside. And of course, they don't have the opera houses.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And speaking of Livingston County, what is your favorite part of Livingston County? I love asking this to
my favorite part, I think, is the feel of community. It is great. It's something that you don't feel in a big city. And it makes you feel welcome. Every little town I go to in Livingston County makes me feel welcome. And then I really enjoy the rural, the farms. I'm really into the beautiful country that we have here.
It's such a special county. It's such a special, special area. And, we do hear that in terms of the people. And for some of these small businesses that have come on and talked through, how they were able to make it through those COVID times where they had to shut their doors, it keeps coming back there in terms of just the people and the community, and that, they try to support the local and the small business. And what a fabulous place to live in.
Absolutely.
It's just
the best.
It really is. That's why we love doing this.
Yes.
We love our county. So wonderful.
Well, I think just to wrap it all up, if you could reiterate maybe how people can get in touch with you guys or where they can find information if they're looking to, go to an event or reach out.
Okay, you could call the office, 517-540-0065, or do our website. It's the livingstonartscouncil.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We have articles in the paper all the time. There's signs in the windows displaying things that are going on either that week or coming up soon. So there's a lot of ways to contact us. Stop in at the office anytime.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know, I even see you guys on the calendar on WHMI.
Yes.
On the side there where you can see the events coming up and such. So, no, we wanted to thank you so much for coming today. And to anyone out there, definitely check them out online, check them out on Facebook. Share this podcast with people. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Just Google Welcome to Livingston Podcast on Google.
Right. And especially if you haven't had a chance to go in or go to any of these events, honest to goodness, put that on your list for this year. Make sure to come in to see something, because it really is a special part of our community.
And there's a lot more coming up.
Yeah, and I think once you go to one event, you'll want to come back to other events, because again, it's a great location and the community is great. The people are great. You guys make everyone that walks through the front door feel very welcome.
Thank you.
Excellent. Great. Well, thanks for joining us today. And on behalf of our podcast, we say
welcome to Livingston.